Welcome to Craig Black Show.
Okay, welcome to the Katie Black YouTube channel. This is my first interview that's strictly on YouTube. So you're not going to find the audio on a podcasting app. So I'm with Tiffany from Confetti Castle. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
It's been so long.
I know. So last time we connected was the Valentine's Day before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to even say. So
that's been like almost a year and a half then.
So obviously I follow you on social media. So I know you got really creative when the pandemic quarantine first hit. Like how did that come to you?
So when we first started, right after quarantine started, like it wasn't very long. I mean, it was maybe within a week or 2 weeks. And I was like, what are we going to do? Because you go into a depression real fast. I mean, a lot of us did small business. I mean, I knew it was going to be hard. And so long story short is I just said, what can I do that I can still provide for people and not go into someone's house? So came up with the thing that, to come up with these activity bags, which was just basically a big bag of balloons with all different kinds of sizes and colors of balloons, no rhyme or reason, and a list of activities that went inside of there for people to do, for kids to do. And we, posted them online, and we did a couple different news stories about it and started delivering those with a local baker. Because you could only technically deliver food items. So this was like an easy ad. And so we did that, and we ended up doing like thousands of them. So all over the city, and that really kept us going until people started doing all of the drive-through birthdays and stuff. And then we just like rolled into that.
No, that's awesome. And also too, I saw that like you had reshared, like, oh my god, like the balloons are still here like a month later.
Oh yes. Kids. Oh yeah, we use the best quality. So that definitely is a thing. I mean, what you use makes a difference, and people still order them now. I mean, they're like, oh, we got them during quarantine, and they'll ask if we still offer it, and it's something we'll always offer. They're awesome. Like, we want to get those again, and we'll do another version of it in the winter, like this coming up winter, and just a way for kids to do something that's active, but just something different than what they're doing every single day when it first started.
Right. Now, when I talked to you in February, like, you hadn't been in Charlotte that long, right?
No, I think I had been, I've been here 2 years. I moved here the June before that, so maybe like 6 months or so, 7 months. So now I've been here a full 2 years.
So what's your vibe now of Charlotte?
Well, I mean, it's so hard to still like judge, let's say, because when I first came here, I didn't have any friends. Then I got friends, then quarantine happened. And so really the only way that we were able to, like, I really made it through mentally was my group of friends. And we formed, like, all the small businesses, girls, women that I'm friends with, we all just stuck together because all of us were maybe in different arenas, but we're all like in the same thing. We're all going through the same stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. And so most of all of us are in events or just some other kind of small business where we were affected. And so just being able to like know, number one, you're not alone and stuff like that. And we call, we were like a pod. We all stuck together. When people started seeing each other, that's who we saw, us and our significant others too. So that, really made a difference.
Like a family.
Yeah. I mean, because that's what you have to do. And I didn't want to, I would have been really depressed had it not been for that. Like really, really down. No matter how busy I am with work, it's still like you still have to have social interaction with friends.
God, absolutely.
So that definitely made a difference.
And I might have asked you this before, but do you feel like what's it like to be like a woman owner of like a small business? Like, do you feel like you have to like prove yourself more so as opposed to if you're a man, or is that just like a myth?
Well, I think I'm like so over all of that in a way. And especially in this city, I will say this for this city, but this is my only experience like for owning my own businesses here, is there are so many women-owned businesses in this town that it's almost feels kind of more normal than male-owned small businesses. I feel like almost all the small businesses that I know here are owned by women, run by women. So I don't really see that as much as far as like I need to prove something. I think it's more of just like proving it to yourself. Like,
right. Amen.
Yeah. I mean, that's more important to me now. It's also probably not just because that, but because of my age.
Right.
That I'm just like, who do I have to prove it to? Nobody but myself.
Okay, and I can tell I stalk you, but
That's okay.
I know you went on the Drew Barrymore show.
Yeah, we did. I did. So go through COVID, the whole thing, and we were so fortunate. I mean, it was not easy. So when people are like, "Oh, we were so lucky," I'm like, "We were not lucky. We worked our asses off." And so what we did is, when after the holidays, it was really starting to be apparent that like these senior citizens were really struggling, being on their own. So there was another balloon company in Wisconsin who I saw was doing something for senior citizens, and I was like, it wasn't my style of what I would do, but I was like, I could do something like that. And so I said, well, let me just try it. And I said, I'm going to come up with my own thing. I decided like one evening, put something together, post it online. I thought, hopefully I can do 50 of these, like deliver 50. Made it a price point where we weren't making money, but it was just something we could do for seniors or where other people could do something for people. And we raised $30,000 in like a very short amount of time because people were sharing and stuff like that. And so we were able to touch seniors all over the city. And so I just had a producer reached out to me and asked, like they wanted to talk to me and tell them about it and stuff like that, and I did. It was super cool. I mean, it was definitely not the reason we did it, but it was a cool result as, at the end of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
No, not really. I mean, because I only really get nervous if it's something I don't know something about. If it's something I'm like passionate about or I know a lot about it, like I don't have a problem with it. If you're like putting me somewhere where it's, I mean, I guess I don't really get too nervous about stuff anymore.
Well, I guess it's just like you and what you're doing. It's not like you have to like pre-study it or something.
No,
right?
It's like, did you prepare? Like I had people ask me, like, are you going to prepare? I'm like, what am I going to prepare for? Like,
it's my life.
I mean, this is like, I do this every day.
Right.
This is what I'm dealing with. They want to know like the real thing. So it's like, it's just what you give them.
And is Drew like just as nice, or as she comes across?
She seems so sweet. I mean, so nice and like genuine and just what you would think, what you would hope, I would say, and that's nice because it's not always like that, obviously, but
right.
I mean, you hope that
it
yeah.
is. No, I feel you. Well, another thing that's happened since we last connected is you got married.
I did. We got married in October. During COVID, we had, which was good and bad. I mean, we got engaged before we moved here. We knew we'd get married, but we said, let's move, let's get settled in, and then we'll figure it out. And then COVID happened. And so we were kind of like, well, we'll just wait because we wanted to go somewhere else and get married. And then time was going by, and actually a really good customer of ours who, I don't know if you're familiar with the Hendricks, that own all the dealerships in NASCAR and everything. And they're good customers. And Mrs. Hendrick, we were at her house one day. She's like, when are you two going to get married? And I was like, well, we're waiting for this and that. She's like, listen, I have been married. She's been married for like 50 years. Or 50 plus years. And she's like, don't wait. She's like, don't wait. Don't stop your life because of this. And, she talked to me about it twice. So after the second time, I talked to my husband, my now husband, and I was like, she said she made this point, and it makes so much sense. And he's like, all right, well, let's do it. So that was August, and then we got married in October. But the only reason we were able to pull it off is because of all the people that are friends and stuff, and everybody contributed and not like, but you know what I mean, like did their thing.
Right.
So I didn't have to be like, I could, my friend that did the flowers, it was like, I just said like, I want something fun and colorful, and these are kind of the colors, and that's it. And I knew nothing else. Like, didn't decide anything else.
Right.
So things like that, and we just made it fun, and we were only able to have 50 people, and we had 50 people, and it was a blast. It was a highlight for sure for everybody that was there.
Aww.
So
now, is that
awesome.
something on the day of that you were nervous for?
No, I don't think so. Because just like I knew I wanted to do it. I knew really in general in life, like not much would change. But it was important to us, and it was really important to us to like have the people that were there, you know? So yeah, we didn't get to invite every single person, but sometimes I think those things get way out of control. And like nobody had like a +1 we didn't know. Like we knew everybody.
So super intimate.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it was a blast.
Now, is there anything that suggestions that you would give to like upcoming brides?
Like in this time, like during COVID?
Or just anything that like you learned, or I don't know.
I
that
mean,
you
just
took
like
away.
roll with it. Just do whatever you want to do. I mean, what we did was like totally not traditional in a sense. I mean, we had balloons at the wedding. We had, we didn't do a champagne toast. We had shambongs instead. We didn't, like all these things. It wasn't like I'm being super traditional. I just was like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
That's awesome. Because I feel like I'm so single over here, but I feel like a lot of my friends that have gotten married, like, I don't know, different stories of just like hell or like trying to cater to like these other people.
No,
that, you know what I mean?
I'm not doing any of that. Like, no, as far as like people being in the wedding, I had my, Lindsay from Babe and Butcher, Melissa, my best friend from Proper Flower. I could have had old friends or whatever be in the wedding, but I wanted people that are like in my life right now. Like they're the ones that add to my daily life, and that's the most important to me.
Right.
Some people have like all these things where it's like important to have from people from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I'm like, those friendships are like this, just like anything, and I wanted who contributes and like is positive in my daily life now. That's important to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. It was awesome.
So we talked about this off mic, and also too another thing that I stalked and saw on your Instagram that you're like, hey guys, there's a balloon shortage. So how do you like break that down?
It is torture. So basically what I was saying to you is that when COVID started, like I am fortunate that we are in a big space. I keep a ton of stock, but you don't want to keep thousands and thousands of boxes of balloons because they do break down. They're biodegradable. That's part of the reason that's like good to use the ones that we use. But also because you don't want to hoard things because other people need balloons too, but we always have everything in stock. But just getting the most basic things now has been really difficult the last few months. We had a little bit of it during like the height of COVID, and then once people started like getting in a groove, then it went away and now it's back. And it comes down to just like the manufacturing side of it. Like they don't have enough employees, they don't have enough people to run their machines, so it just clogs everything up. And so we just have to ask people just to, not be like super, super picky. I mean, you have to just kind of let us do what we do. And if we have to make, substitutions or whatever, I mean, that's what we have to do. There's not really a lot of option. I mean, it's like either you're going to get balloons or you're not going to get balloons. Right. And you might not get that shade of beige, but I mean, I can get you as close to it as I can. But I mean, I can't produce things out of nowhere. If I could, I promise I would. Yeah, I mean, it's like that's the very few people that don't understand it. I'm like, do you not think that I want your business? Because I'm doing everything I can to get what you need. And it's all of us in all different, fields. But I'm like, if I could give it to you, I would. Because the cost doesn't make a difference what color it is. So it's like, if I could give it to you, I would, but it's literally not possible. So, I mean, we're working through it and just trying to plan ahead as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. So, and I know this might be like a holy shit, where do I begin answer?
Yeah.
But my question is like, what's it like to be a small business owner, especially in this like we're still coming out of this like crazy pandemic and like where it kind of flipped everything upside down?
Well, I think, I've said to you before we started, is just that the biggest thing probably is, we are all very small teams. Like us, here we have now, when I first started, it was just me. Then I had an assistant. Then I had, like admin help. And I had a little bit of social media help to answer my DMs. And then my husband started, came on. And so now, but really, I mean, it's just us. And, people are like, well, we need to hire more people or we need to do this. I'm like, go find them. Good luck. Have fun because, I mean, you can't get like a high school kid to work now, basically. It's like, that's almost impossible. College kids are only here in the summer. That doesn't work for me because I'm teaching you like a skill and I need you to like be here. Yeah, like if I didn't have to teach you something and invest time and energy, because to me, time is money. If I didn't have to invest time into somebody, then like it would be no big deal, but I have to invest a lot to teach somebody things. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a thing. And so that's probably the biggest struggle, is getting like items that you need to make things great, you know, like, products like balloons and stuff, and people. I mean, those are the two biggest, hugest issues right now for everybody that I know.
That's crazy.
Like for us in our industry, for, you know, people in food service, for people, you know, florist friends, like there's flower shortages. You can't get flowers. And people just don't understand that, like, we're doing everything we can. So, but.
It's so crazy to, like, because obviously I'm in my own bubble with, like, what I do of, like, having shortages of, like, really important stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to make your daily, like, business run, you know, that's hard. That's probably the biggest struggle right now.
Do you have, like, prediction, or is anyone giving you a heads up that, like, how long this...
I don't know, we ask all the time, and they're like, because a lot of our distributors, they'll be like, oh no, like, there's no shortage, like, we have all these pallets. I'm like, you have 10 pallets of gray balloons. That does nothing for me.
Right.
Like, I need you to have one pallet of each. And it's not on them, it's the manufacturers. They're only doing one color run at a time. So the thing is they might send to 10 distributors, but they're sending all 10 distributors the same exact thing. So it's like, you know what I mean? So they say there's no problem. But I am very excited because in January I go to a balloon convention, which is going to be... I really feel like I should probably like video this.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I can't even imagine what kind of crowd this is going to be. I'm so curious. Because it's like everything from like clown balloon artists, like people who like make balloon animals, to just, you know, people like me, people with smaller businesses. I am so interested in what this is going to be like. But my main reason for wanting to go is because these manufacturers will be there. Represented, like, because they want you to buy their products.
Gotcha.
And I am not above being like, what do you want me to have a successful business?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
What do we need to do? Do I need to order so much a year and I always
just,
get
like,
what I need?
it,
it's like, tell me and I will do it.
Where's it at?
Chicago in January, which is brutal. I don't know who thought of this. It was in Orlando. I guess they do it every 2 years. It was in Orlando last time. I'm like, why do I pick one that's in Chicago in January?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I mean, it'll be fun. I have other balloon friends from other places that are going to be there. But I'm mostly excited to talk to these people and just be like, I totally understand, like, the business thing. But it's like, maybe think about it this way. Or what do I need to do so I don't end up in this boat again?
Right.
You know, I don't want to be a hoarder and take away from other people because I have the capital to buy a lot, but I don't want to do that, you know? So it's like, where's that balance?
That's like sweet of you, I guess, right?
Well, I mean, it's like, I don't want to be like that.
Right. Right.
You know, but I don't know. So I'm going to find out.
Well, yeah, document that.
Oh my gosh.
I'll watch it.
There'll be like balloon sculptures I mean, I can't even, I'm so excited to see this thing.
Well, another thing that, again, going back to your social media, I saw where you were, like, trying to help other balloon business owners, where you're like, you have to charge.
Oh my gosh. It's not just that. It's everybody I know. So people don't understand. Like, you don't get DoorDash for free. You don't get Postmates for free. You don't get shipped for free, like grocery delivery. You're not getting anything for free. So it's my time, my vehicles, all this stuff, and people just don't charge enough. And it's like, if you really broke it down, like this week alone, just sourcing balloons, I've spent 15 hours of my time, okay? Just buying things, right? And that's just in 1 week. So if I have to be doing that and then I have to drive or have to pay somebody to drive somewhere, it's like you have to account for all of that stuff. Just because you're not physically in somebody's house putting up balloons doesn't mean like they have I might go to somebody's house and it takes me 20 minutes to do an install because I've done it so many times, I'm fast, but all the work is done before. We blow everything up here, we put together stuff here, And so putting it up is like the easy part. So people might see that and they're like, oh, well, this is like no big deal. Well, you do it yourself and then we'll talk.
Come back
And
to me,
and it's like you can't just put it in the back of a car. You have to have like a big vehicle. You know, we have a box truck, we have a delivery van, we have all these things. And, you know, you've got to, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And people just don't understand. So somebody who might be starting out in my business or in other business, somebody's starting out and they're like, oh, we just want to get the business. You want to get the business, but you have to make a living. Unless you have somebody that's paying all your bills, I mean, like, you have to make money.
Right.
You have to make it worth it. Otherwise, it's a hobby. Is it a career and like a business, or is it a hobby? So if it's a hobby, fine. But if you're trying to like really make a living, then you have to charge accordingly.
Yeah, wow. But we know, like, props to you for like giving, I don't know, I think that's awesome that you gave that the heads up to other business owners.
I mean, that's the thing, is people are, you know, some people are of the school of thought of like, don't share with other people who are like in your industry. Well, number one, if you live in Pennsylvania, I'll give you everything. If you live here, though, I'll still give you everything, because no matter what, I'm at a point in the business now where, not like I'm ahead, but my clients are my clients. If my clients are going to go to somebody else, it's because they might want to get it cheaper, which is fine. But my clients are going to stay with me for the most part. I mean, obviously, something's going to happen. And because now we've built all these relationships, I have that in my favor. So, like, if somebody is new starting out, like, I'm not worried about them taking my clients because I have those relationships. And people just get so worried about, like, what somebody else is doing. And I'm like, if you just focus on what you need to do and do the best at it and, like, figure out what your pain points are and fix those, then you, for sure, like, you can make your business better.
No, that's good advice, because I've even experienced that in, like, podcasting, of just people not wanting to just... I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, just not wanting to share, paranoid. It's very interesting.
I know. I think it's a lot of, I don't want to say self-esteem, but I think that's part of it, kind of. It's like you have to be confident enough in what you're doing. And I don't always know the answer either. So I feel like what goes around comes around. So if I give some, you know, if I need something back, then I know that I've given. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, karma, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if I know that I'm willing to, like, help other people, like, hopefully somewhere along the line, if I need help, someone's going to help me.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, you know, that's kind of the way that I look at it.
That's very cool. Okay, well, before I go into, like, fun pop culture, what's the longest it's taken you to, like, do an installation?
Oh, it's so hard to say because we do so much here.
So it's a lot of prep, yeah.
So it's a lot of prep, but we have a job next week so we go by feet, how many feet of garland we do. And next week we have a job that's almost 300 feet of garland, which is like a very big job.
How do you fucking measure that?
I mean, we have like formulas, like we count out how many balloons, this many balloons makes this many feet. So that's like a really big job. And I mean, I don't know, because there's so many like factors. Yeah, there's so many factors.
And will you go outside of NC to like?
We would. I mean, but there's so many balloon people. I mean, we've had people ask, but I'm so honest with them. I'm like, this is what I would have to charge you for it to be worth it for us to say no to other jobs. And plus, we're booked out so far that like to be like, we're not canceling on anybody. So I have to do it when we're not booked, you know, which isn't very often.
Right.
So I have to set time apart, like time off way beforehand.
So if anyone, obviously that's watching, I was going to say listening, but that wants you to, you know, do something, whatever the case may be, like how far in advance do they need to give you a holler?
We always just say the sooner the better. I mean, right now we have a system where they like fill out a form and we send them back thing, we tell them we're available. But we're actually in the middle, well, not in the middle, we're at the very tail end of launching a new website, and it's going to be where they can, like, pick the date, pay a deposit, and then they'd, like, held that date. And then we just work from there, which part of me is kind of, like, nervous about because I don't want to take away the personal part of it. But we still have to work with them, but there has to be something where it's, like, we secure things. It just... You can spend a lot of time talking to somebody, like a good example. A couple weeks ago, we had somebody we had 43 emails back and forth with. 43. Okay? This is a lot. That's way too much.
Yeah.
That is way too much. And
I don't know why.
go
that's
to
funny
the
me,
end, and they end up saying, "Oh, we changed our minds. We're not going to do balloons." So I'm like, how much money did I spend on my admin assistant Heather? How much time did she spend talking to this person? And we had not gotten $1 from them. Like, I'm like, you cannot do that. So
is your like cutoff like 20 emails or?
No, now it's going to be like you have to pay a deposit, not
fair.
the whole thing.
Right, no, that's fair.
Pay a deposit to book the date, because then we know, like, okay, we have that money in the bank, you're serious about it. Because the other part of it, the part that's on us is to answer all their questions on their website as much as we can. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to, now we've talked to so many people, we know, like, when they ask this, the next question is going to be this. So we do our job and, like, give them all the information, but you'd be shocked at how many people don't read. Like, we send an email, and then they're like, we want this many feet. How much will that be? And we're like, literally, you could multiply 11 by this number, and that is the price. And they just, like, you know. So we have to cut that out.
I don't know why I find that funny, but just because, like, I've had some emails, too. It's like, yeah, do you not see what I just wrote? But then also, too, I'm like, are you just trying to, like, fuck with me? I don't know.
It's tough.
Yeah,
I mean, like, the amount of people that don't read is wild.
Yeah, that's scary. Well, I guess we can go down 1,800 paths. But,
yeah.
Okay, so pop culture.
Yeah.
Here recently, in the last year, obsessed with... So, into pop culture.
Yes.
Obsessed with the Free Britney movement. What is your thoughts?
Oh,
what is your
God,
vibes?
So wild. I mean, okay, we can't say that there's not, like, she's not got a little screw loose. Like, totally. I 100%. But then it's like, she was also under a microscope for so many years when she was young. That's got to mess with you somehow. But do I think that, like, she should be forced to have, like, an IUD in her body? Absolutely not. Like, that's wild. That's
next level.
Not even wild. I mean, I can't even wrap my brain around that. And, like, having, you know, for her to say, like, people watching her change and stuff, I'm like, I just can't understand it. But the thing is like, it's so hard because we don't know both sides. I mean, we all know, like, no matter what. Do we all think it's messed up? I definitely think it's messed up. But do I think that, like, she should just go get, like, a free-for-all? I mean, yeah, of course she can, because you can, you know, there's NFL players who make millions of dollars and they spend it in a year. I mean, but if that's what she's going to do, that's what she's going to do. So, I mean, at some point, it's like, are they going to do this until, what happens if her dad dies? Then what? Like, that's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, at some point, they're going to have to just let it go, so just let it go.
Yeah. I just can't imagine, like, yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, there's more questions than answers, but, I mean,
did you listen to her audio?
Yeah.
I mean, she definitely sounded like she's like, bing, 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 squirrel, and just...
But that's what my thing is like, but then I analyze, I'm like, has that always been her, or is, like, she, like, breathing because, like, she's, like, locked in a tower? Can you imagine if you had to ask someone permission to go and get in your car and drive?
No, I don't ask my husband those things, so no.
Right.
So I can't even imagine that, and, like, no, but there's got to be some kind of middle ground. I do think it's way too much, but do I think she's just, like, normal, same person? No.
Right.
But do I think that what they're doing to her is crazy? Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I was told someone the other day, like, what's the craziest thing is, like, whatever they're doing is apparently legal. That's what fucks with me. Is like, and then I heard somewhere that, like, the U.S. and maybe one other country is the only place that has conservatorships. I don't know, just I guess that's what's crazy to me is, like, why is this legal? Or, like, so weird.
Well, I mean, I guess but then there's also, like, things where it has to be that way. Like, that's why it's so hard with somebody, and there's so much gray area, because, like, imagine if you are, you know, a functioning autistic person, okay? And you can't make, like, proper decisions for yourself. You have to have somebody, so it's like, in that situation it's necessary, but where is the line drawn? You know? So I can see where it definitely is, like, necessary, but then there's also times where you're like, well, I mean, just let her be a fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, she's gonna be a fuck up. That's all there is to it.
It's her prerogative, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If any of us want to, we can really you know? But that's where it's hazy.
I just always think too, I'm like, okay, so people think that like Kanye's not all together. So like, where's his conservatorship? You know what I mean?
They tried to do that apparently. So she tried to like get him committed. Yeah. Like they've talked about that. Do a little digging on that, but they definitely like, you know, he came out and said like they tried to get me locked up. Like he tweeted all this stuff like Kim and her mom, they tried to get me, you know.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a screw loose too.
I know, but I guess I just view it as like, does he get to like slide out of that because he's like a male? I don't know.
I don't think that that's the case, but I think also like, do you really like who's going to be responsible for him? His parents are no longer. So what is she going to be? Is she going to be his conservator? So that's like, do you want to take that on?
But then I look at it like all those like sleazy like, what's the thing that like sucks your blood?
Leech.
Like all the leeches like in that world, I'm sure someone would sign up to like.
Yeah, but do you want that job?
Absolutely not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, and who is it? Because if it's not her, then it's somebody else going to be making those decisions, and then where does that leave her?
I guess that's a different thing when it's like there's no family unit.
No.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want that job.
Yeah. No shade to Kanye, but
no, that's
how do you use an example?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so these were technically in my head my icebreakers, but I'm gonna close out the show with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
BSB, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, or 98 Degrees, or Boys to Men.
Oh, for sure, NSYNC, for sure. I actually was just saw yesterday. I was Googling it, but I can't go. I have too many trips like coming up in the rest of this year, and because they're doing some of NSYNC, some of Backstreet Boys, and Boys to Men are doing a 4-day thing in Vegas.
Whoa, okay.
That's why they were showing that video. I don't know if you saw it like a couple weeks ago of Lance, the four of them doing Bye Bye Bye. That's why they were doing that because
they're really prepping.
Yes.
Whoa, okay.
4 days. But I think it's just a test to see like, is this gonna sell out? Because those guys all want to still make money.
Right. Or can we still dance?
They still can dance, I think. I mean, we might need some new material, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing that. It's the three. That's them. There might be one more group, but definitely Boys to Men. Definitely those three.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you rather break a leg or break an arm?
Oh, so this is really bad. I've never broken my bone until right before I moved to Charlotte. I was on a scooter, sober, in the middle of the day, which really makes me mad I was sober, and fell and broke my arm. And I've been riding a scooter for like 3 years before that. And fell on a scooter, broke my arm, and had to move, which was just total pain. But now with my job now, I mean, I guess I would have to break a leg. I need my hands. I know. I really would need to break a leg. I think so. Terrible.
Okay, so
if I get hurt, it's all your fault right now.
I know, right? Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. 2 more questions, and I've asked guests on my show, girls and guys, when you know that your friend or whatever is being cheated on, are you
cheated on? Okay, so I've got
you have 2 definitions of cheating.
Cheated on, and or I'll finish the question, then I'll tell you.
I'm just saying, like, are you like? Do you feel like you have to like tell? I don't know. Yeah. Do you feel like you speak up and tell your friend, or that's them and they'll find out when they find out, or whatever?
Definitely have to say something. I've actually been in this situation before, and I went to the person that was cheating, and I was like, look, I know what's up. So
that's interesting. I heard someone on television actually share something similar to that. So how does that go over?
I really don't remember. It was a long time ago, but I just am like, look, just get out of it. Like, you don't have to be in this, but I'm not gonna like hold your secret. I'm a really good secret keeper, like really, really good. Something like that, I'm just like, no, just break up. It's not that hard.
Right.
I'm a firm believer, though, that you can be happy with any person on the planet. I think we might have talked about this before, actually. You can be happy with literally any person on the planet. Man, woman, I don't care what it is. It's what are you willing to sacrifice? And so I don't think you have to, like, because it's like maybe he's not your type. Well, that might be your sacrifice. He might be everything else, but he might not be exactly what you envisioned. So that could be your sacrifice. So in this case, I just think there's no reason to cheat because I just think it's silly.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
It's a cop-out. It's just like, you don't want to break up, so you're going to cheat. But it's like, who wants two? I'm so fascinated by like sister wives and stuff like that. But I am like, who wants more than one wife? Like, what?
Right, like what's that?
No way. Like, nah, no. So that, but I'm like very fascinated by that because it's like, you know, some women want to take care of their kids. Some women want to have sex. Some women like to clean the house. You know, I can see how it works. But when it comes to like just straight up cheating, I'm like, no. But it's also the same thing. Like, what would you do if you saw a friend in a relationship, emotionally abusive relationship? Do you say something or do you just like say nothing?
That's something I feel like I'd be more comfortable with saying something as opposed to the cheating.
And what do you do when you say it? Do you like
just be like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit, and I'm saying like you can do whatever you want. Like, okay, just I'm like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, this is bullshit. Like, your life, you can do whatever you want, but like I'm telling you, like it's not acceptable.
I know.
But again, that's something that like you can only like. I just feel like you say it once and that's it, and then that's all you can really do, unless you know what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just so you can be like, just with your conscience and yourself to your friend, like, hey, honey, I told you how I felt, and I told you that I thought it was wrong. And,
yeah.
But I know and I think that that's actually how we connected was because you guys were doing a benefit for domestic abuse victims.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, you know, it's easy for me to just say that, but I know that it's like levels of.
Well, I think I say all the time, like, men like that don't like women like me and probably not like you. You know what I mean? Like, men who are going to treat women like that, they don't want us. And they also don't like us to be friends with their women. Like, let's say I have a friend who's dating a guy who's abusive, emotionally abusive, abuse. And they don't want her to be friends with me because I'm going to be the one that's like, And I think that that's very apparent. You know, like, I think that people like that don't want certain women. They go for the same thing over and over.
And I think, too, just in the last, like, maybe 10 years, or maybe less than that, that I've really understood, I think, when I was younger, that, like, physical abuse was always, like, the deal breaker. But now you understand that it's verbal abuse and all that shit, and, like, in your brain is just as bad.
I think it could be worse. Because you can, like, heal. But I think that if someone's, like, beating you down every day, like, that is a whole nother thing. You know? That's not cool at all. Yeah. I don't know how people do it.
I don't either. And then I think another level is, like, I don't even know if that's all they've known or they've known it for so X amount of years. It's like, do they think that that's a normal relationship? Or?
I think people who just don't think that highly, they're like, this is all I can get. Like, but it also goes back to, like, people talking about, like, you know, there's dating sucks and this sucks and that sucks. It's like, the first thing you have to do is be happy with yourself. Otherwise, like, you can't find no one else can make you happy. You have to be happy, and then someone can enrich your life.
Right.
But
like icing on a cake.
Yeah, it's like you can't find all your happiness within someone else because that's putting too much on that person. You have to put ownership on yourself, because if you are looking for somebody to, like, fill all these voids or do all these things, then that is putting too much on them. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't need, like, they need to make themselves happy.
Right.
And then you guys, if you're both happy, then you can bake that together. But it's like, when people are like, oh, I want somebody to just make me happy, I'm like, well, go look in the mirror, because you're really the only one at the end of the day that's going to make yourself happy.
Right. And I feel like that's, like, a journey, like, I've probably gone down the last few years. It's like, I need to, like, do some inventory, like, on myself before I, like, get back out there. But it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
And you also have to just say, like, you have to be open to other people telling you things, and you can't just, you know, you gotta just be open to, like, whatever.
Right. Okay, 2 more questions.
Have you ever seen a ghost or, like, something that was, like, weird that you never forgot?
Not really. No, that's not, like...
Have you heard anything that's, like, no one's here?
No, I have a deja vu a lot, which is kind of weird. I haven't had it as much lately as I used to. That always tends to... I don't know where this came about, but at some point in my life, I think I've heard or read or something that, like, deja vu is a point in another life where you made a different decision than you made at this time. So it's like a choose your own destiny thing. So whenever it happens to me, I always think, like, okay, I really need to think about this decision. And it could be, like, nothing. It could be, like, really lame. But I don't know where I heard that. But that always sticks with me. That if I'm doing something, I'm like, oh, I guess I need to, like, really think about this. Because I've been in this situation before.
It's interesting because I just, over the 4th of July weekend, deja vu came up, and it was like interesting, and like this, your definition kind of blows my mind too. I feel like everyone kind of has a different definition of deja vu, but like I love that.
Yeah, it's like where you feel like you've been there before. I'm like, I know I've done this before. I've had this conversation before. And then I'm like, oh, what do I need to do different?
I've always thought it was, because I believe, like, not everything, but the majority of things are, like, planned out, like, coming out the womb and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just feel like, oh, this is, like, my soul realizing that, like, I'm in this moment, in this timeline. So that I'm doing something right, but.
I mean, I guess you could look at it either way.
Who knows? Okay, last question.
Yes.
If you were not doing what you're doing for an occupation, like, what would you love to do?
Ooh, I would probably, I mean, it's still in the same realm. I love the creative part, but I really love, I don't want to say mentoring, because I don't know that I'm like, I know enough to say that, but I feel like other people would say that to me, not necessarily even in my business, but other women in business. I feel like I'm always like in a leadership kind of role, like in relationships, friendships, things like that, group settings. And I feel like mentoring or business coaching and things like that would probably be like what I would do.
Very
Like,
cool.
because I'm decisive. I make a decision. Like, I'm not like, oh, what should I do? Or, you know what I mean? I'm like, I make decisions and stick to them. So I think that helps. And I'm not like wishy-washy about things. I'm like, okay, make a decision. Even if it's a wrong decision, I can figure that out later. But I would rather just make a decision and move on.
I feel that.
Yeah,
And I feel like, and I just, to your vibe, I can tell like you probably like are a good ear for your friends.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't ask me unless they want me to say something. I mean, if they say like, don't say anything, but usually it comes in like a question, like, what do you think I should do, or what's your suggestion, or whatever. And I'm totally down with that. But I guess like sometimes you just want to like sound off. But it's kind of funny. One thing I will say real quick is that it's funny because if I tell my husband a problem, his first thing is to try to fix it. If I tell a girlfriend a problem, their first thing is just like to listen and like, let me think about it. They're not trying to fix it before I've even like finished my sentence. And I feel like men typically are like that. So I have to preface with my husband, like, I'm going to tell you about something I have going on, and I don't want you to fix it. I'm not looking for a solution. I just need you to listen. And he'll be like, well, it's not normal for me to not, like, that's just what I want. I'm like, okay, but this is what I need. I just need to say it out loud. Maybe it'll help me. So a lot of times I find myself probably asking my friends first or whatever, because they're going to, like, get the whole picture. And he's just like, let me fix it right now.
Right.
And that just doesn't work.
Interesting. Very cool. Well, that's it.
Yes.
What do you think?
It's great.
Yay, you're my first one. Yay, thank you so much. And you guys, should I look here?
You didn't even tell them about your flowers you got.
Oh my gosh, okay, yes.
They're going to think I have just like broken flowers
Okay,
sitting
so I got this for Tiffany because it was pink. And literally, David, my camera guy, what up? I put it on like the edge of a window to try to open the door from the other side, and the wind blew and literally totally tipped it over, and of all things, like broke every GD flower. So I was like telling her, I was like, I need ET in here to like help.
I forgot about that.
Yes. So Drew Barrymore to ET.
I know, there you go. There you go.
Full circle connection.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh my goodness. But you'll have to come back. I love it. This is like
Yes.
you're kind of seeing me,
Yes.
like I'm seeing you at your different parts
Yes,
of your journey.
I love that. Anytime.
And you guys check her out. If you guys can't tell, I'm obsessed with her Instagram at Confetti Castle, right?
Yes. Yes, that's
What,
right.
what?
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it. Love your place.
Thanks.
Yay!
Cut.
Yay! What do you think, David?
It was good. Yeah.
Thank you, Katie Black. You're amazing. Thank you,
I
love.
love your energy.
Yes,
I
great
do.
energy.
I love it.